Okay, so now the first 3 games have been played in the Premier League. We have a few things to break down. A lot of pundits and fans have questioned Ten Hag, and with his approval rating being lower than ever, I thought I would pose the question to the Old Truthfordians on Instagram. Have we improved this season? To which a whopping 65% of people believe we haven't improved. So I thought I would take it among myself to prove, undoubtedly, that we have improved as a team since last year. Let's get into the video. First off, there's no doubt the squad depth has improved this season. Our squad is arguably the strongest it's been in over a decade. How many seasons were we calling out for a CDM? We now have Ugarte and Casemiro, albeit saying we have Casemiro isn't the biggest flex right now. Look at the quality we have. The only area we can really argue isn't balanced or experienced when fully fit is our attack. And there's no shock that this is affecting us right now, as we can see here. We are the worst team in the league for creating opportunities and not finishing them. This is the result of having such a young front line with the likes of Xerxes, 23 years old, Højlund, 21 years old, Ahmad, 22 years old, Garnacho, 20 years old, Anthony, 24 years old, almost forgot he played for us there, along with an out-of-form Marcus Rashford, 26 years old. This is not down to the manager that we have failed to convert these chances. I believe it's a mix of having a young front line and an out-of-form Marcus Rashford. Now, for the purpose of the video, I'm going to explain XG. XG is expected goals. It's a statistical metric used in football that gives more information about the quality of chances. In my opinion, XG is the best stat to use for measuring how well your team was objectively set up, as it shows the quality of chances created and conceded. You want your team to get higher XG and the opponent to get a lower XG. Now, obviously, most of us would agree that we performed better in our first season under Ten Hag compared to our second, as proven by this poll, courtesy of the Old Truthfordians. As a result, we would expect worse XG scores in our second season compared to our first season. Now, when we compare the first season and the second season, it's clear to see against Fulham, we were more than half as effective, going from an XG score of plus 1.09 XG in Ten Hag's first season to an XG score of plus 0.52 XG in Ten Hag's second season, proving that XG is a trusted measure of how effective we are as an overall team, lining up with people's current beliefs, but we played worse in the second season under Ten Hag. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to compare the XG difference of our first, second, and third season results against the teams we've faced so far, Fulham, Brighton, and Liverpool, in the exact same fixture in the previous seasons. So, let's start with our first game of the season, Fulham. In the 2022-23 season, we beat Fulham 2-1 at home with a positive XG difference of plus 1.09. Now, in the 2023-24 season, we lost to Fulham 1-2 at home with a positive XG difference of plus 0.52. So as mentioned, our XG dipped last year given injuries, poor form, etc. But now here's the interesting thing. When we look at the stats for the current season, we beat Fulham 1-0 at home with a positive XG difference of plus 1.99. Now, that is a plus 1.47 increase from last season's performance, despite the result not reflecting this improvement. Obviously, we could have scored more than just the one goal at home. We have literal, objective, black and white data in front of our eyes to tell us we have improved from last season. Now, let's move on to our second game of the season, Brighton. If we pull up the stats to compare our XG differences when we have faced them away, it doesn't actually show all that much, other than the fact that these are usually closely contested games. And whether we like it or not, Brighton have become a bit of a bogey team. So we can see here, Brighton away 2022, 1-0 loss, minus 0.87 negative XG difference. Brighton away 2023, 2-0 loss, 0.59 negative XG difference. And finally, Brighton away 2024, 2-1, minus 0.63 negative XG difference, losing all the games against Brighton away from home. However, what I do want to highlight is the fact that if Harry Maguire had actually kept his eye on the cross and sensed the danger right in front of him, then we wouldn't have conceded, and my point would have been even more concrete. Also, for the first time we faced Brighton under Ten Hag, we have had more possession. Now, this didn't just happen by accident. This is a clear indicator for how Ten Hag wants to play. He is building this squad up to a position where we will dominate ball-playing sides like Brighton. Other positives to take are the amount of shots and big chances conceded did reduce from last season, yet again showing we have improved from last season despite the end result. Now, finally, let's look at our XG against Liverpool. This was the final straw that broke the camel's back and is the reason a lot of people are calling for Ten Hag's head. However, I think they need to start using their head, because if you look at the data, it tells a very different narrative to what the media and a lot of United content creators are trying to push currently. So let's look at this. Liverpool at home, 2022. 0-0, minus 1.63 negative XG difference. Now, in the 2022-23 season, the stats here are actually quite ridiculous. United had 32% possession with an attacking XG of 0.75. Although it showed quite a resilient defensive effort to hold Liverpool to a 0-0 draw at home, this is not how Ten Hag wants to play. These stats are atrocious, but somehow we got a draw. Now, Liverpool at home 2023, end result 2-2 draw. But then if we look at the XG, it was a minus 2.97 negative XG difference. Now, in the 23-24 season, as you would expect, the XG difference is even worse. There's a reason it was our lowest Premier League finish ever. We conceded 7 big chances and created even less XG than the year before. And yet we still somehow managed to score 2 goals and draw this game 2-2, despite not even creating 1 XG. This shows how important having clinical forwards is and what a massive difference it makes in the fact that we were clinical in that game and we somehow managed to draw 2-2 because of it. Liverpool at home, 2024, the game from last week. We lose 3-0. However, when we look at the XG, we've only got a minus 0.43 negative XG difference. Now, for the moment of truth. When we compare the 23-24 with our current season, it is clear to see how Manchester United have improved despite the scoreline saying otherwise. Now, obviously, these stats aren't perfect, but first off, our XG difference is a massive improvement from a negative XG difference of minus 2.97 to minus 0.43. Still not where we want to be, but that's a 2.54 XG improvement in terms of overall team performance. And again, for the first time under Ten Hag, we held more possession against Liverpool, further proving that Ten Hag is setting us up to maintain possession against teams who are known to prefer having more possession. Liverpool have been built on pressing and getting possession back. Also, in comparison to our last 2 performances, we created 3 times the big chances that we had previously. Now scoring those chances comes down to the players. But this is hard evidence showing you that we are better than last season. We may not be better off, but we are better in almost every metric other than finishing. Now, let's look into why we're not better off this season. Individual errors. If you want to be fair, balanced, and just, you simply cannot blame our position in the league right now solely on the manager. Ashworth knows it. Barada knows it. I know it. And I'm hoping now you know it. The players have to take responsibility. We literally have the worst XG to actual goal conversion rate in the league, as you can see here. The truth is, Ten Hag can set the team up to win. He knows how to do it. He's won 2 trophies here. But if the forwards, like Rashford and Xerxes, don't take their chances, defenders like Maguire don't keep their eye on the ball when crosses come in, midfielders like Mainu and Casemiro get bullied off the ball or misplace a straightforward pass, then of course we're going to struggle to score and excel at conceding chances. There's nothing he can do in this situation other than not start them. We are set up to win these games. It's now on the players. However, having said that, let's hope that Ten Hag makes the changes that we all want to see. Ugarte, after the international break so we can get this show back on the road. And he doesn't have to take idiotic questions from more jerkalists looking to make a name for themselves. If you enjoyed this analysis style video, subscribe, drop a like, and comment what changes you think Ten Hag should make with the current squad to get them over the line. Really appreciate you tuning in. Godspeed.